How's the transition been going for you?
It's been good. Been here a little bit over 2, maybe 3 months. Feel like I've been here a while, know all the guys, comfortable with the guys, hang out with the guys, so it's been good.
Picking up the offense, I mean, are you there?
Yeah, not there. I don't think you ever are there. You know, always got to get better, always, you know, the little intricacies that you try to figure out, and I'm trying to do that now.
What's been the biggest challenge then, especially now that the coaches are out there kind of over your shoulder all the time?
Well, it is a completely different offense than what I'm used to, you know. I went from a pro style to this, you know, air raid and fast tempo, so everything's really different. You know, new guys you got to adjust to, and, you know, so
Everybody's
yeah.
for you right now.
Is that good for you or not? I mean, the adjustment from a pro-style offense to what you're doing here is obviously different. Do you feel like you were maybe better suited to the other thing and you got to start from scratch on this?
Well, I think, you know, coming from where I come from, it definitely helps me. You know, this offense is a lot different than that as far as how we read and progression-wise. And over there, it was all coverage-based, and, you know, it is a little bit here, but mainly progression. I think, you know, having both of those will just help me further on down the line.
Talk about your decision, the thought process that went into choosing West Virginia. What made you so confident that this was the right spot for you?
Well, you know, I wanted to come here out of high school. It didn't really work out, didn't really get recruited. It was a different offense then. So, you know, I went to Florida State, and, you know, Gino left, and, you know, I wanted to come here actually after the fall. But, you know, failed the class and didn't have enough credit, so I had to go back during the spring. Then after spring, you know, it took, you know, a couple visits, but I knew I was coming here. It's no brainer. I'm from here. You know, I'm a West Virginia kid, so it's pretty easy.
If you had fared better during the spring, I mean, you know, you said you wanted to do it, but then you went through spring practice at Florida State. If that had turned out differently, would you have had a hell of a decision to make then?
It would have been a little tougher. I would have had to thoroughly sit down with my family. It was pretty much easy one though. Things were uncomfortable down there with my dad being on staff. Don't want to get into that too much, but it was just really uncomfortable, and I had to get out. So.
You don't have to get into it, but do you mean like with players or how?
No, not so much a player. I was just another one of the guys. They didn't really treat me as like a coach's kid. I was, you know, their quarterback then. Players were fine. So.
And Dana's talked about how you've been promised nothing. You came here just with the confidence that you can come in and win the job and no guarantees on it. Can you talk about that a little bit and coming in here and fighting for that spot?
You know, during like the second recruiting process, some other schools were, you know, pretty quick to say, you know, it's yours if you want it. And I didn't really like that because, you know, it's college football. You're going to have to, you know, compete wherever you go. And I didn't really trust that what the other coaches were saying, and I just trusted what Dana said. He's like, hey, I'm not promising you anything, but you're going to get chances. So that's all I could ask for.
How disappointed were you coming out of high school that it didn't work out here?
I was. I came to camp here, and I really tried it. It just didn't work out. They ran a different offense, so I mean, I understood why. But, you know, I always wanted to play here in the stadium and for these fans and everything. So.
FSU's not a bad fallback.
No, that's for sure. You know, I had some other good choices too, but FSU was a good place too.
How's your skill set translate? I mean, going from, like you said, down to Florida State to coming into Dana's offense, what are you finding different? What do you find, does it fit better? Are there things that you're finding more comfortable?
I would say it does fit better. I would say I'm fit pretty much for this offense. It is a good fit. I like Coach Holgerson, his offense, what he does. My skill set translates pretty well to this offense, I think so.
What's the hardest thing you got to do differently in this rather than what you were running before?
Probably just, you know, everything here is progression. That's the hardest thing. When everything down there was coverage based, and, you know, I just got to, you know, go through your reads and stay on this and always be ready to throw it at, you know, a moment's notice, because you never know when you're going to have to throw. So everything down there was pretty much set. Once you get the fifth step, ball's out. You know, it's different here. You got to be ready at all times.
Is managing tempo a new skill too?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we weren't, you know, a fast-paced offense down there at Florida State, but we are here, and that's definitely a difference. Everything's, you got to go. Just forget about the last play. You can't really hang on to it too much and just keep going.
Quarterback battles can be hard and distracting because Gino's been here really forward and all haven't gone through that. You're there? Are you familiar with quarterback competition? Is that advantageous at all?
I think so. You know, I competed against EJ first couple of years, and I competed this spring, and you know, I'm used to competing, and I think you're going to have to anywhere you go, you're going to have to compete. That's part of the game. So I know what to expect a little bit, but then also, like I said, it's a new team, new everything. So.
One of the things Dane has talked about a lot is communication. I mean, how much of that is it to picking up those signals, being able to tell what they're trying to get into you, and then communicate it with everybody else?
That's probably been one of the harder things since we've started practice. You know, we've had 7-on-7 over the summer, and that's just all player-based and player-driven, and so it's not the real thing. Then when you get into the coach and he's signaling, you know, you can't even see what he's saying or whatever. So it's a lot faster with coaches out there. That's probably been one of the harder things, just relaying what he wants to the team.
How about getting adjusted back to Morgantown? Any, I mean, major differences or anything, or do you still visit? So maybe it's not.
I've visited. Well, I've been gone. I was gone 7 years. And I visited twice every year.
Oh.
So I've been back up here all the time. I've still kept in contact with plenty of my friends, and they came down to visit me all the time down there. So you know, I had some good friends up here, and I'm glad to be back up here with them.
What was the most fun you had this summer outside of football?
Kenny Chesney concert was pretty fun over in Pittsburgh. It was a good time.
You didn't leave any trash there, did you?
Say
You
what?
didn't drop any trash there, did you?
Yeah, everyone else did. It was pretty bad in the parking lot, but it was a good time.